Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710 and seattlesports.com. Happy Friday to everybody out there on the heels of a Mariners spring training game. And who better to be sitting in with us today? Not in person, but he's close. He'll be here Monday, by God.
Yes.
But he's with us on video today. Our pal Ryan Roland Smith in that fancy studio. Look at that thing.
Hey, listen.
You ever going to invite me over there so I can see it in person?
In person? Yeah, I'm not going to give anything away, but it's a sham.
It's a sham. I'm not really seeing what I'm seeing. It's
right.
not real.
If I went and go, boop, tapped on that brick behind me, it's over.
It all falls
The whole
down.
thing just collapses.
Well, good to have you, man.
Yes, listen. I love being in person. I love to sit there, and you and I get some good conversations between breaks. But able to do it from here. I got a big function after. Not a function. I got some family stuff after this. I could only hang out and do it from here. But it's so good to be on the show.
Yeah, good to have you. And man, we are just days away from opening day. Next Thursday, we'll be broadcasting live from Victory Hall out there for opening day ceremonies. The Athletics in town, just not the Sacramento A's, not the Oakland A's, just the A's.
Just the A's.
They're in town. We'll be there on Thursday broadcasting. Then Friday we'll be at Edgar's. So there's a lot happening next week. Can't wait for the season to start. As pessimistic as I am, I'm still excited, right? I love baseball. I can't wait for the season to start. And how about Dan Wilson officially announcing the rotation? I think last time we had you on, there was no decision about the opening day starter. So I'll ask you about that quickly. But any surprise that he made that move? Not that Logan isn't your best pitcher, but that he didn't defer to the veteran. That Luis had made it known that was one of his 3 goals coming into the season. He wanted to be the opening day starter. And to his credit, I don't know if you heard Logan, but he said Luis was maybe happier for Logan than Logan was, and that he couldn't have been cooler. So I loved hearing that story. But any surprise that they didn't defer to the veteran, and is it the right move?
No surprise. Last time I was in there with you, Bob, we talked about, it was kind of a toss-up 50-50 as to how that was going to go. On the surface, and especially too when Luis Castillo in an article says, hey, listen, that's one of my big goals. When you hear that from a veteran player, you start to think, hey, you know what, we want to reward him with that because he is, the Rock, as they call him. And that was the only look, taking nothing away from Luis Castillo, please don't get me wrong. The only way it would sway towards Luis Castillo is because it's more of a seniority situation. However, Logan Gilbert just kind of encapsulates what it should be to have your young stud, all-star last year, led the league in innings, made every start, did all those, did the consistency numbers better than anyone, not just with the Mariners, but in baseball. That's your guy going out game one. And on top of that, too, if you're a Mariners fan, and Bob, you're sitting over there saying, you're still pessimistic, and I get it. I understand that. If you're a Mariners fan and you literally have a situation, you have a platinum glove behind the plate, you have your closer is an all-star, your guy taking the mound on Thursday is an all-star. You got Bryce Miller, who's, by the way, number 3 in this rotation, I believe. You're going to have to fill me in on that if that's been announced.
Yeah,
he's going to make an all-star team. Luis Castillo, former all-star, just a couple. I mean, I'm just saying, you got all these pieces. By the way, some of those names I mentioned, they're all in their late 20s.
Yeah.
And that's the special part. And that's why Logan Gilbert getting that first game, I think it's a no-brainer for sure for the entire organization.
Hey, by the way, if you could just, somehow absorb every bit of skill from one of these 5, and we throw Kirby. Kirby's going to be on the IL to start the year. But from one of the starting 5, you said, man, if I could just take every ounce of what that guy has and put it in you, who would it be?
Oh, that's a tough one. Honestly, and I'll be quick with this. I'm going to say Logan. Reason why. I talked to him yesterday, actually. We had a great chat. And the extension part for me is massive. He is literally in the top 1%. Getting on top of hitters. When you can do that, you can miss a couple breaking balls. You can miss a fastball middle and still have that. The durability aspect, 32 starts last year, 200-plus innings. These things are going to keep you on the field for a very long time. And again, every time I mention one of the attributes, it feels like I'm taking something away from the other guys. But he's a complete package, man. He really is. We are so lucky. I think sometimes we do take it for granted. And honestly, I think we take it for granted sometimes because he's such a good dude, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Bob, you've talked to him.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's
he
great.
should be walking around like, he should be snubbing us. He should be snubbing me every time I want to bug him. He's not. That's not him. We're so lucky.
Looking down his nose at you like, who are you to talk to me?
Yeah, excuse me. I've wasted 5 minutes looking up your career numbers. You don't talk to me. No, he could be totally like that, but he's not. And that's a great question. But I got to stick with Logan on that one.
Hey, one other thing I don't think I've ever asked you. This is 1 through 5, all right-handers, and that includes Emerson Hancock, who will be in there for George Kirby. It used to be a thing. There used to be much more emphasis on you wanted a righty, a lefty, lefty to keep it switching each day. Do you look at this rotation and go, I'd love to see a lefty in there, or does that bother you at all?
You know what? And you've put me on the spot here. I'm trying to, my Wi-Fi is slow. I'm trying to look up verse lefties. Listen, it's the same idea. Remember, it used to be, now it's different now, 3-batter minimum in the bullpen. It used to drive me crazy when you're getting, I'm not going to call a mediocre lefty, but someone who's just a kind of above average. Mm-hmm. You're going to go with that option. I'm just talking bullpen-wise here. You're going to go left on left to get a kind of a, good mediocre / above average lefty, as opposed to getting this righty who's an absolute stud. He's going to make this a terrible experience for 4 to 5 pitches. That's kind of how it was when it was those lefty-lefty matchups. I'm like, really? The same goes with this rotation. If you had a situation where you had, call it 2 or 3 of these guys that had rough splits, couldn't get lefties out. And it was kind of like that a little bit. Brian Wu struggled getting lefties out.
Yeah,
Not
Miller too initially.
Yeah, it's kind of not the case now. It's, this is a rotation, lefty, righty. There's no craziness on the splits. Now, again, if it was, all right, mix in the lefties and adjust that lineup. But
I thought maybe as a lefty you'd be going, come on, man, you got to have some lefty love in there.
Hey, listen, since I've been done pitching a long time ago now, it feels like. The whole thing, pitchers are the best athletes. They're not. They're definitely not. Lefty bullpen arms, they're not the best option. That was me for a little bit. They're not the best. I'm just going to be transparent because I'm not playing. If I was playing, it'd be different. If I was playing, Bob, and you and I were chatting and I joined your radio show and was co-hosting, I'd be like, oh, you need 2 lefties.
You got to have at least 2. Come on. All right, we got Ryan Rowland-Smith in with us today. He'll be with us Monday as well. Meanwhile, the Mariners have a key roster decision to make this weekend. We're going to weigh in on one perspective about what is happening with this team. We're going to do it with best of the rest. That's coming your way next. It's Wyman and Bob with Ryan Rowland-Smith, Seattle Sports on 710.
We are the home of the Mariners.
Big news, by God. We're excited to announce a multi-year partnership extension between the Seattle Mariners and Seattle Sports / Bonneville Seattle. So all Mariner games will continue to be heard on our platforms, including 710 a.m. The legend that is Rick Riz.
We couldn't be happier on behalf of the Seattle Mariners. We love the fact that we're going to be back on 710 Seattle Sports. Thank you so much. We're thrilled.
On Seattle Sports
and the Seattle Sports app.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION.
This is the story of the one. He's responsible for keeping a leading healthcare facility clean and safe. And he trusts Grainger's high-quality HVAC cleaning and safety products, combined with their world-class supply chain, to consistently deliver, ensuring he's covered inside and out, so he can focus on keeping his facility clean to help protect the health of everyone inside. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Hey, partner, what's one word that comes to mind when truck month rolls around at West Hills Autoplex?
Well, that's easy. Work, play, push, pull, haul, tow, trails, snow, Ford, Chevy, Ram, GMC, Toyota, trucks and trucks and trucks and...
Celebrate Truck Month at the West Hills Autoplex, just off the Auto Center Way exit, Highway 3, Bremerton, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Hazelwood has it! Oh! Trucks and trucks and trucks.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity. So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and 1 unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus 1 unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus 1 unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Over the past decade, Washington state politicians have doubled state spending with no improvements to the issues we care about. Instead, we now have the 3rd highest cost of living in the nation and a $12 billion deficit. It's time to tell legislators we need better results, not bigger taxes. Act now at affordablewashington.org. Paid for by people for an affordable Washington and Olympia, Washington. Top 5 donors are Washington Alliance for Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Alaska Air.
I started Davis Law Group in 1994 to fight for the underdog. And as our team has grown, we've stayed true to that mission. Today, Davis Law Group is known for providing excellent service and even better results. Visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com to get your free book on car accident law.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, Dream Engagement Rings are our specialty. We have the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds, handpicked in every price range, ready to compare side by side. Shop online at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
It's Power Torque Tools DIY days at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Lifetime guaranteed Power Torque professional hand tools only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Jackson Hewitt wants you to save money on tax prep. We're saving money by having our intern rap in this commercial.
Don't stress, Jackson Hewitt's got expert tax prep, $149 or less. Yo, some tax guys lie about price. They got hidden fees, that ain't nice. Ain't nice. Don't ignore MC Kevin's rhyme, cause this deal's for a limited time. $149.
For tax prep that's $149 or less, hurry into Jackson Hewitt today.
No cap.
Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Your favorite Seattle sports show is available anywhere you go through the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center Proton Therapy. Full shows and interviews, exclusive video and articles from the home of the Seahawks and Mariners.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Taking a look at your NCAA tournament scoreboard, finals from earlier in the day. Fourth seed Maryland taking out 13 seed Grand Canyon, 81-49. It was Duke, the 1 seed, taking out 16 seed Mount St. Mary's, 93-49. A little bit of a contest between Alabama, the 2 seed, 15 seed Robert Morris, 90-81. Alabama comes out on top of that one. Iowa State, the 3-14 matchup, comes out 82-55 over Lipscomb. It's Colorado State with the 12-5 upset over Memphis, 78-70. North Carolina, they gave it a shot, but came up a bit short. They lose to Ole Miss 71-64. It was St. Mary's by 3 over Vanderbilt, 59-56. Baylor edging out Mississippi State. The 9 seed taking out the 8 seed, 75-72, the final there. And one game going on as we speak. It's Florida out to a 13-3 lead over Norfolk State early in that game.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
We'll get to best of the rest in just a couple of moments. The text line is there for you at 866-979-3776, powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. We've got our buddy Ryan Roland Smith with us today. He'll be with us Monday as well. And for Dave Wyman, we got Mean Text. It is Friday, so we'll do Mean Text coming up at 5:45 today, so you can get those rolling. And if you want to take shots at Ryan,
go for it.
Go for it. He's got thick skin. He can handle it. He can handle it. Well, and now that look says maybe not. Maybe not.
I'm reading some of these text messages now.
Are they already taking? I haven't even opened it. Have they started taking shots at you?
Outside?
Are they angry with you? What happened?
Yeah, I mean, did the sun start going down at 4:45 again, like middle of winter? What happened? Wow, it just turned on me.
Wow. All right. Well, we'll see what happens at 5:45 today. The upside is you won't be here to hear them. You've got your engagement that you've got, your previous engagement. So
it sounds so big time, doesn't it?
It does.
It's really nothing. You know what? I can still. Hey, listen, if you want to text in, I can still flick on the app. I won't be in the car, but I can flick on the app, throw a headphone in, and I can hear them.
Hear all the mean things people are texting in about you. All right, we'll do that at 5:45. At 4:30, Shannon Drayer will join us, our Mariner Insider. Right now, let's get to it. Best of the rest.
We know you love listening to us, but there are great discussions happening all over our station.
I need more Jake Bobo. I need more of them.
Because Jake Bobo is objectively fun to say.
Yeah, I'm just not good at that. Let's tone it down.
It's time for the best of the rest.
How dare you?
All right, we'll start today with Brock and Salk, and we'll get into some Mariners conversation here, Ryan. They were talking about the final Mariners roster spots that could be up for grabs and still have question marks as they see it. Here's what they said.
That leaves you with 3 more spots. I would say that for sure Ryan Bliss is on this team, don't you think?
It'd be hard if you're a new regime that's come in and you do your developmental organization as well. You love to see your own develop and thrive.
I think you would also note that Cole Young did not particularly perform well
and
at
he was
spring
banged
training.
up, which did not help.
Didn't. Again, not a shot at him, but he's not going to make the opening day roster. That dream is kind of out the window. It leaves 2 spots left for bats. One, to me, is either Mitch Haniger or Rowdy Tellez. I don't see how you could possibly have both of those guys on the roster. And I've been saying for quite some time, since we were down at spring training, I just don't see how Mitch Haniger fits on this roster. I don't think that is, look, it's the last year of the deal. So you can either spend that money for him to be on the team, or you can spend that money for him to not be on the team. But I would, if I'm going to spend the money either way, I'd rather get more production out of the spot than give it to a guy that also can't really play the field. Say what you want about Rowdy Tellez. He's not a great first baseman, but he is a first baseman. He can play first base. You're at a point now with Mitch Haniger where he can't play the field anymore.
All right, so 2 things there. Let's start with Bliss. Does Bliss make the opening day roster? Because it seems as though they've it's been intimated that your starting second baseman will be Dylan Moore. You've got Donovan Solano as sort of a utility guy out there. I don't know if they're going to just keep Dylan at second or move him around a bit. Dylan has not had a good spring in terms of hitting the ball, but again, we always talk about taking spring training numbers for what they are, good or bad. So how do you see Bliss's role? Is he a guy you say is a no-brainer, or do you think there's a chance he starts in the minors?
I'm not going to say he's a no-brainer. I think that, and look, I don't know if there's been internal discussion here with Dylan Moore and the Seattle Mariners front office and coaching staff, and I've tried to ask around a little bit, you know, but you're not really going to get a clear answer. Is there a discussion when he said, hey, listen, I want to have a window here where I can show that I can be a fixture at one position? They look at him, and the Mariners love versatility where guys can move around. You know, kind of like Macklemore did back in 2001, played 130-something games in 4 different positions, right? I see Dylan Moore, that's where his value lies, I believe. You mentioned Donovan Solano as well. With Ryan Bliss, is he that guy who has played his way or shown enough in spring training to say, you know what, all right, Dylan, you're not having a huge spring. We know that. Not that spring training numbers matter. We value you as you know, transitioning infield, outfield. All right, Ryan, we're going to give you more space here to play more regularly at second base. But what happens is when from spring training, those last 2 at-bats you have, or that third at-bat you have, that's when you face 98 with high spin. And that's one thing with Ryan Bliss. If he does make this team, the leash will be short. In other words, he's got options. And nothing against him. I love Ryan Bliss, man. I hope he makes the team. I'll be bugging him, just like I bug Logan Gilbert all the time. And if he makes the team, it's going to be something like, all right, this is a massive window for you to establish yourself as being here long term. Show that you can get that third, fourth at bat if you are going to be starting, that you can handle, plus fastballs at the top of the strike zone. If he can do that, he can put himself in a really good spot. Coming out of spring, he's gotten to this stage. And so I'm wishing him all the best. I hope if he does make the team, he gets some more regular playing time, and off he goes.
All right, so moving on to the second part of their conversation about Mitch Haniger and Rowdy Tellez, and I've been saying this in the entire spring. I love Mitch Haniger. He's one of my favorite guys that's been on this team. He's such a good dude. He works his tail off. That guy works so hard. But the reality is he really has a hard time staying healthy. He's coming off, you know, a down year along with Garver as well. But I don't know. I guess with this team, Ryan, that is proven to be pretty financially aware, I'll say in a nice way. The idea that they're gonna, just do away and just release Mitch Haniger when he's owed what $15.5 million this year. He represents the third biggest payday on this roster behind Luis Castillo, who gets 24.1, and Julio number 2 at 21.1, according to Spotrac. Mitch Haniger's number 3. I just don't. Maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe they will just say, you know what, it is sunk cost, and we want somebody, as Brock and Salk were saying, we want somebody we feel better about producing. We owe this money regardless, so let's get somebody who's going to produce in this spot. How do you see him handling Mitch Haniger? Because I don't know what his role is.
Well, first of all, it's been eerily quiet with Mitch Haniger these last couple of weeks. In other words, you haven't heard a whole lot from him. I know you guys had a chance to chat to him when you were down there. I mean, I think you're talking about his diet more than anything, really, because he's... Listen, this is how I sort of view this. And I understand it, right? Perception-wise, you look at Rowdy Tellez and Mitch Haniger, and you put them side by side. Give me one attribute Rowdy Tellez has from 2024 that Mitch Haniger does not. What I mean by that is this. Yeah, he can play first base. Yeah, big deal. Right, the situation here, and again, Rowdy Tellez, he's awesome. He's a character. I'd love to see him. And I had a chance. I met him down at spring training. I just find it funny how we perceive these players because Mitch Haniger is getting paid a lot of money. I understand that. He's coming off a down year last year. Yet you have someone brand new, and it's kind of like that shiny toy where it's all of a sudden, oh, yeah, you know, Rowdy Tellez, it's like this is going to make more of an impact. I don't see it. What are you going to eat the money you're going to pay Mitch Haniger and make him go sit at home when there could be a little bit more production, maybe even a little bit more versatility when he's healthy, that range changes and that arm strength changes from the outfield from Mitch. All of a sudden you have a guy who, yes, can DH and can play in the outfield and everything else. A situation like this, if Rowdy Tellez was coming off a situation where you know, there was a bad exit from another team, and you're talking a guy who, you know, hit, you know, coming off consistent years of 25 or more home runs. Mm-hmm. All right, there's a power threat there. There's a guy off the bench who doesn't strike out a whole lot, can get you on base, But I'm not. I haven't seen that from 2023, 2024 just yet. Look, I hope he comes. He's made adjustments. We don't know that. The only people who know that is internally what they're seeing. But you're talking on base the last 2 years, sub 300. You're talking an OPS in the 600s, and you're talking 13 home runs last 2 years. So tell me how Mitch Haniger, eating that money from Mitch Haniger is going to be a detriment as opposed to having Rowdy Tellez beating him for that spot.
Yeah, I don't know that it is. I think it's maybe I don't know. I guess if I'm a fan looking at it, I'm going, well, at least we feel like Rowdy Tellez is going to be more durable, perhaps. He'll be out there more often. He'll be available more often. He is a lefty.
But just on that, too, and Bob, I hear you, too, from a fan's perspective and my perspective as well. Looking at this and, all right, if you can play, if it's a situation where Mitch Haniger is not playing, because April, man, he was playing a ton in April. If he is dealing with lingering injuries, apparently he is, then you know what? He's not playing as much because the outfield's covered. Then he gets the DH, he's off his legs. Well, that makes him more durable straight away. And if that's the case, well, it's a completely different Mitch Haniger than what we saw in 2024. So that's the way I sort of look at it. But I understand, I get it. You have someone new coming in who you look at and say, wow, this could. I just don't quite understand where the value lies when you put the two side by side, especially on paper.
Yeah, I guess even with Tellez not being part of the conversation, I'm looking at it going, all right, that leaves Garver and Haniger as your two DH options. And you can throw whoever else you want in there, Solano, I guess, at some point. But how do they divvy that up? Just even between those two. I mean, obviously Garver is going to be a backup catcher, but how is it going to be once a week for him? And is he going to DH every day? How are they going to divvy that up just between the two Mitches? And then if you do throw in Tellez into the mix, I don't know. I'm just trying to find out what Mitch Haniger's role is ultimately.
I was gonna mention that too. When you have a Mitch Garver, who, by the way, looks really good in spring training, like not getting overmatched by anything middle up, in the strike zone, doesn't look frustrated, looks a little bit more. I get it. It's spring training. That makes it a little tougher for Mitch because you look at that and say, all right, I'm talking about Mitch Haniger. Mitch Garver, if he was struggling, he looked similar to what he did last year. Then you're like, okay, this is our backup catcher. That's going to be his skill set right now. But, man, he's looking at like, man, we're going to have to push him into some more at-bats. And that makes it a little tougher, too, for Haniger as well.
Yeah. So make a prediction. What do you think they do?
Well, it depends if, Mitch Haniger, if he starts the year on the IL. And the other thing is, too, with Rowdy Tellez, there could be some contractual obligations. He has an opt-out, I'm sure. He's probably passed one of the opt-outs maybe on the 20th, a couple days ago. I don't know. I'm just speculating. At the end of spring training, he'll have one. And then if he goes to AAA, it'll be the end of I'm guessing it's the end of April. And so I think if there's some obligation there in regards to they carry Rowdy Tellez. And Mitch is, if it looks like with Mitch Haniger with that shoulder, if it's more than a month, what they could do, this is my speculation, Mitch starts the year on the IL. They carry a player with options, call it a Ryan Bliss. If they can talk Rowdy into going to AAA, hey, you're the first guy up, and don't opt out, then all of a sudden, that's what I feel like it'll look. That's how it will look.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll find out. It's decision time is coming. Meanwhile, Bump and Station. Now, this has been a debate about the start of the season. Like, how crucial is it that this team get off to a fast start? And I've maintained, Ryan, not for the players so much, but for the fan base. Mm-hmm. For a fan base that has really seemingly run out of patience. Yeah. Really, it seems like they're just waiting for that moment to go, see? Told you. Offense stinks. Told you. They're not good. There's a different level of angst. So, to me, I've been saying this is a very consequential season, especially the start of it. I think you got to hopefully appease this fan base because I think they're very agitated about what the offseason was, which wasn't good. You didn't do anything. I mean, Solano and Polanco were your big additions. So to me, I look at it that I'm not looking at it from the point of, if they get off to a slow start, the season's over. No, I'm not saying that at all. It would be great to have them get off to a good start, certainly, but I don't think that dictates who they're going to be at the end of the season if they start slow. It's about appeasing the fans. So we had Greg Amsinger on saying, hey, I've got two teams who I think can lose the season in April, basically. And he said the Guardians and the Mariners. Then we had John Morosi on, who was the exact opposite, saying saying the Mariners don't need a fast start this season based on the division he thinks is down. So Bump and Stacy were talking about that and explain why they agree with Morosi, that it's not crucial for this team to get off to a fast start.
I don't agree.
Me either.
Why don't you agree?
He said to start off with a par. You never just want to start with a par. You want birds, all right? You want a birdie in this thing.
Yeah, all kinds of birds.
All type of birdies. Look, man, we've been through this, and their first series is against the A's, and the A's should be in the mix. He's looking at the division and saying it could be tight, but you start off with the A's, man. If there is any opportunity for you to have the start that you want, it is this year. I remember one year they started off with the Red Sox. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll see. One year they started off with the Guardians, I want to say. And we expected more out of that, and then we realized the Guardians were better than what
They lost that series.
we thought they were. But just start off with the A's, man. You win this series. You don't have to sweep them. We need to win this series.
I think it's also all a conversation about expectation. What Morosi is saying by just go pars, like don't fall so far behind. You don't need to start hot, but you don't need to fall so far behind. And his reasoning is, well, this division is not a 5-team or even a 4-team race, and they're not going to have the best team in baseball in this division. And that's true. Like, that is just fundamentally true. However, context. We're not expecting the Mariners to win 100 games. Can you win 89 or 90? Can you win 91? Because it's going to be a tight race. If this season unfolds the way everyone expects, it'll look a lot like last year, a lot like the year before. You know, I'm sure the Rangers would love it to look like the year before, where they're a little bit healthier. Just because there are question marks about the other two teams doesn't mean you can't start fast. You absolutely should start fast. You don't have the firepower to dig yourself out of a deep hole.
What do you think, Ryan?
You know what? You mentioned something earlier about the fans.
Yeah.
And everyone else. The players feel that. The players know about the offseason. The players know how the fans feel right now. So you talk about getting off to a good start. Yeah, look, you know, what was the term? You know, making par or making birdies, like Bum said. In my opinion, you got a good start's huge. Now, they got off to the first 2 weeks of the season. It was a little smoke and mirrors last year. They got off to a really good start. But, man, you were seeing some punch-outs, and you're like, oh, here we go. When I say a good start, I'm talking this is why. You've got some personalities that if they can play 90% of their potential, this team is going to win the division. Randy Arozarena, Victor Robles, obviously Julio Rodriguez, Jorge Polanco, J.P. Crawford. That's a lot of players, right? And a lot of guys in that lineup. You want a certain energy. They all get on social. They all look at what fans have to say, what the vibe is. You want to feel like you're in the driver's seat early. And that is just beyond wins and losses. That is, okay, right? OPS plus. Man, I'm above the flat line, the 100 line. I'm not striking out as much as I did last year, which was such a flaw in the side. To little things that you notice once you get to the month of May, and you're like, oh, I'm in a good spot. My swing feels good. I'm not missing pitches I shouldn't. And our pitching staff is rock solid, and we're pretty healthy. And you're looking at George Kirby coming back. That's the kind of start you're talking about. It doesn't mean you have to go out and win every game, or otherwise it's doom and gloom. Because you have a situation where the Texas Rangers, if they are hovering within a game or two, they're going to go out and go crazy at the trade deadline. Houston Astros, they get smart because they've been there every single year. The Seattle Mariners have some stocks, some pieces they can play with at the trade deadline. And so that's what the good start means to me, where you feel right in everything you're doing, as opposed to wins and losses, if that makes sense. Now,
right.
If they don't get off to a good start, and this is what I'm saying, if they don't get off to a good start and you're looking at, losing a bunch, hey, you know what? I'm not striking out as much. We're manufacturing runs a different way this year. Rotation's healthy. That's a good start too. So that's kind of how I look at it. But, man, I'm telling you, April's crucial, man, especially from a fan's perspective for this team. I'm telling you right now.
And that's how I'm viewing it, just how the fans are receiving it. Again, they got off to a great start last year, as you said, and our buddy Luke Arkins tweeted this out a few days ago. First place at the end of April. First place at the end of May. First place at the end of June. 10-game lead on June 18th. First place at the All-Star break. So a tremendous start.
Yeah.
They didn't make the playoffs. So one doesn't mean it equates to the other, that they're a playoff team, they're playoff bound. It just, to me, it's about how it's getting the fans settled, getting them back in to buy back in, and because I just think there's a segment waiting for them to go, yep, told you, team stinks, offense is terrible, told you, I'm tuning out. So there's that. That's how I'm viewing it. Meanwhile, quickly before the break, we got opening day coming up next Thursday, and we've got a brand new season of one of the great shows on Root Television.
Top Step.
We do.
Does Dave? Does that fool you? Does it make you feel like you're talking to somebody back home when you hear Dave say that?
Absolutely not. I know exactly who that. Where is he, by the way, today? How come I'm filling in here? Where's
He's
he?
on vacation. He's got to pace himself.
Every other week.
He's got to pace himself. But a brand new season of Top Step on Root.
Oh, they didn't get the cue. Brady didn't get the cue.
Top Step. There you go.
Yes,
little delay.
Brand new season. I'm sitting in the studio right now. If you're watching at home, I got Logan Gilbert joining me on opening day. I can't wait. I'm going to be interviewing players in person this year. We've got a bunch of good giveaways and contests. I can't wait, man. It's going to be a blast, and it's leading into every Mariners game. Which, by the way, Root Sports. How about that with the app? I love it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Talk about that. But just want to get that in there. Thank you. That Top Step. Lefko's not ready for me. I'm just catching him off guard every time.
He's over there watching pickleball YouTube videos.
He's not paying attention.
Yeah, I turned to pickleball videos. Sorry.
Yeah, that's great. So that'll happen on Thursday. First, the debut episode for this season with Logan Gilbert. So make sure you tune into Root Sports for that. Today's your last chance, by the way, to experience opening day like never before. Talking about front row access to opening ceremonies, player introductions, the first pitch, and much more, all from the field. So to enter, all you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app and click the Win tab to find out how. If you don't already have the app, just text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776. We'll send you a link to download it. It is totally free. Meanwhile, you might have heard her on the radio broadcast earlier. We're going to check in on everything happening in spring training with our Mariners insider, Shannon Drayer. She'll join us next. It's Wyman and Bob with Ryan Roland Smith in Seattle Sports on 710.
Opening day is almost here, and we're sending one of you and a friend to experience it like never before.
Swing and a drive, deep to left field.
With front row access to all the opening day ceremonies, from player introductions to Ichiro's ceremonial first pitch, all from the field. To enter, just open the Seattle Sports app, then click on the Win tab. If you don't already have the app, simply text app to 866-979-3776, and we'll send you a link to download. Enter daily to increase your chances to win. This contest runs through Friday, March 21st.
Over the past decade, Washington state politicians have doubled state spending with no improvements to the issues we care about. Instead, we now have the third highest cost of living in the nation and a $12 billion deficit. It's time to tell legislators we need better results, not bigger taxes. Act now at affordablewashington.org. Paid for by people for an affordable Washington and Olympia, Washington. Top 5 donors are Washington Alliance for Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Alaska Air.
Hey, partner, what's one word that comes to mind when truck month rolls around at West Hills Autoplex?
Well, that's easy. Work, play, push, pull, haul, tow, trails, snow, Ford, Chevy, Ram, GMC, Toyota, trucks and trucks and trucks and...
Celebrate Truck Month at the West Hills Autoplex, just off the Auto Center Way exit, Highway 3, Bremerton, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Hazelwood has it.
Trucks and trucks and trucks.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, we'll help you find the perfect diamond. This is your engagement ring, aka only your life's most important piece of jewelry. No need to worry. As gemstone experts since 1929, we handpick only the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds cut to our high standards in every price range. We have diamonds in all shapes and sizes, ready to compare side by side right here in our store. Come see for yourself at Shaneco.com or at your local store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. With thousands of full replacements with expert craftsmanship and unbeatable warranties, we've been building roofs you can trust for over 5 decades. It's more than just a job, it's our promise to you. Protect your investment with a free Golden Pledge warranty on all GAF roof replacements over $15,000. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule a free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
When buying a battery, most people don't know one brand from another. And brands don't start things, watts do. And who remembers that volts times amps equals watts anyway? At Pacific Power Batteries, you're buying a battery from someone who you can trust. Lately, we've been working hard on our product knowledge so that you don't have to remember all that you may have forgotten about Ohm's Law. Studying vendors' strong points helps us find a battery that's right for you. And at Pacific Power Batteries, that's not artificial intelligence. That's useful information.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Getting towards the end of spring training. It's going to be all wrapped up, and we've got the season opener Thursday out here in Seattle when the Athletics come to town. And joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline is our Mariners insider, Shannon Drayer. Shannon, are you ready to leave the desert? Have you grown out of wishing for the sun, and you're anticipating a little colder weather and some rain out here?
I think we can handle the colder weather and the rain. But, yeah, it's funny. It's like you look forward to coming down here all winter long, and just like the players, there's a point. You know, it's a great place to be. You enjoy the sunshine, you enjoy the baseball, but there's a point you want to get home and you want to see baseball that counts. And we're getting very close to it. But, you know, as everybody says, if spring training was a week shorter, we'd all be fine with it.
Yeah. Hey, one thing that Ryan and I, and we've all been talking about for a couple of weeks now, and I think I probably talked to you about this when we were down there, is the role for Mitch Haniger and how you see this shaking out. He's owed a lot of money. He's got the third biggest payday on the roster behind Luis Castillo and Julio. But his role to me is very murky at best. I don't know how he fits, especially if Rowdy Tellez makes the roster. Give me your thought as to the reality of Tellez. Does he make the roster? And if so, how much does that impact Haniger? Could you imagine this team just moving on from him and paying him $15.5 million?
Well, I think it's a question that they can push because we haven't seen Mitch Haniger in a game in a long, long time. So, he's obviously, if he is with the club, going to start on the IL. And then that's going to take some time. He would get some rehab starts along that line. So I would imagine that if they have that luxury to, kind of push it down the road a little bit and then see where he's at, things can happen in that time when a player is out. And if those dollars have been spent, I think that is an option that they would take. But, obviously he's not going to break camp with the team because he just has not played very much because of the injury. So I think that, would I be surprised if they cut him? I don't think they have to right now. So I think that's a question that really doesn't have to be asked. And if they do, well, they do. But right now, he does not impact the final 26.
Shannon, we're trying to put our GM hats on, like everyone is, and try and construct the last part of this roster. Mitch Garver, looking at him, I mean, he's hit well this spring. It looks like he could turn this thing around from last year. What's his day-to-day role? Now, backup catcher, is this a situation where he could hit his way to more DH starts for this team? How's that going to play out with Mitch being the backup catcher and a guy who essentially they could use to have more at-bats if he's still hitting the ball well?
Well, I think that'll solve itself kind of, as you said, if he is hitting the ball well. But they might need to use that spot for somebody else who's hitting the ball well. We don't know how much Jorge Polanco is going to be able to play at third base, and he has been one of the best bats down here. We also don't know how the bats are going to translate once they get back home as well. If Rowdy Tellez is on the roster, I mean, Luke Raley is probably going to be getting most of his at-bats at first base. So, can you set up a platoon situation with somebody? Can you get Rowdy? If he's on the roster, then, of course, you are going to use those at-bats. So that makes it tough, I think, for Garver. And, unfortunately, he got hit on the wrist. He was not out very long, but we really haven't seen him pick up from where he left off there. He was, he had a hot bat when he got hit on the wrist, and, thank goodness nothing was broken. But he's, we've seen kind of some pop-ups and whatnot, and again, that might not mean much right now. He did, up until that point, you liked everything that you saw from him at the plate. You saw a big difference with what you saw towards the end of last year. And he is somebody that has had a role and has been able to go in there and hit lefties well and did in the second half last year. So, that's on his scorecard. But as far as his role goes, and it's one that he has acknowledged, and I do think it's one that there's a little bit of a relief with, because this time last year he came in, he was a full-time DH, and he did want to catch some. And he still was in spring training sending himself out with the catchers for the catcher's work. And eventually, he was allowed to catch some games in season. He did himself say, I am the backup catcher. That is my role right now. But he would like more at bats. He'll be given the chance to earn them, but it might not be that easy. This is a very tough roster to put together. You got a lot of pieces that can do a lot of things. And I think that, that DH spot in particular could get very crowded.
Where does Ryan Bliss fit in all this? We were playing a clip earlier, and it was Brock and Salk debating the final roster decisions, and they basically both of them, right? Ryan said, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Bliss will be there.
Yeah.
Is it a no-brainer? Where does he fit?
Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens there, too. I think they would feel comfortable doing that. I don't know if that's what they're going to do. He does seem to have received the most starts at second base, but Dylan Moore has very much been there as well. And it's really it's kind of a toss-up. I mean, Bliss has been better with the bat, but that could change, and, maybe you do give Dylan Moore a little bit of a runway to see if he can get it going with the bat, back in the familiar confines at T-Mobile Park and whatnot. But here's the thing. So if Dylan Moore is your starting second baseman, he's easily your best defensive infielder in an infield that needs defensive players. The defense is a question mark right now with what you have. Do you put him in that position to kind of solidify a position defensively and take what you can from him offensively? Or do you let Ryan Bliss start, where the defense He has made some spectacular plays, and kind of the one thing that he's got to get past is the routine play. Those are the plays that he sometimes gets a little quick. We've seen him drop some balls that are hit right at him. Haven't seen it of late, but we have seen it throughout spring. And that is the one thing that Perry Hill doesn't want to see from players. He wants to see players make the plays that they are supposed to make. So it's a tough one there. But the other question is, particularly if you have Polanco at third base, they're going to play a lot of close games. They're going to need to protect runs. When do you go to a defensive replacement at third base, and who is that? Do you want Dylan Moore available for that? So just so many questions. Could it be Solano? Where does Solano play? When does he play? How many at-bats does he get? It's a tough one all around. But I do think at second base, whoever we see over there, I don't see it as a platoon situation. I think somebody is going to be planted there and given an opportunity to run with it for a little bit.
Shannon, is this something, and I was questioning this, and maybe this is something that I missed maybe last year, but has Dylan Moore expressed to the Mariners, look, I know I've got value as a utility player. I know defensively I'm above average, but give me one position, call it second base. I want to prove to you guys that I can be an everyday whatever position, obviously second, and show that I can be solidified in that role as opposed to being a utility?
I don't know. I don't know that that's a conversation that I would know. I don't know that that is something that Dylan would do or how often that is something that happens. I think that, ultimately that is something he would like, that any player would like. You do embrace your role. If you are a utility player, you have to embrace it. You can't go out there and play that half-hearted. It's a tough job, and he won a Gold Glove doing it last year. So, there's a lot of pride, I think, that you can take in that position. But it's a nice thing to know where you're going to be playing every day as well and know that you're going to be in a lineup every day. And that's where it gets tough because you want those at-bats. So he was given an opportunity a few years ago, and it didn't go well, and unfortunately, the time that, he was the clear, here you go, here's your opportunity. It didn't happen. And at this point, I think that it's not so much for him a matter of I need to be in one place. I think he's going to want as many at-bats as he can get. And again, I cannot. I look at this, it's like puzzle pieces. You put them on the table and you look at it, and I could not tell you how many at-bats your infielders are going to get and how many at-bats your DHs are going to get because it's a scramble right now.
Shannon, before we let you go, I've been instructed by Adam Ray to let you know he's coming for you in mean text today because apparently you took a shot at his athleticism when he was out there. You had some remark about, he's out there making people laugh, and just by him being out on the field, something about his lack of athletic ability. I can't remember how you phrased it, but he said, let her know I'm coming.
I can go a couple of different ways here. So I did actually text him, and, truth be told, I think he did, and I told him this, you made a nice showing out there. And very offhandedly, when I was asked about an absolutely ridiculous circus of a day, and I would think that he would, when I say showing, was I meaning, you were entertaining out there, or were you actually, a player? And I meant you look like a player out there, but perhaps he kind of misinterpreted what I said. Because I think he should take pride in his ability to make people laugh, too. Yeah. And there was a little bit of that as well out there.
Well, I said he ran like Jesus Montero, so he I think he's
coming from a guy, by the way, who 50%.
I have no question he could beat Jesus Montero in a foot race.
Shannon, we appreciate it. We'll see you in Seattle next week.
Sounds good, guys.
See you later. There's our Mariners insider, Shannon Drayer. Shannon's coverage from Mariners spring training is presented by Pacific Lamp and Supply. What were you going to say, Ryan?
I was going to say, Adam Ray, look, not half his content. He's got plenty of good content on social. I catch myself flicking through his videos, but the crowd work he does where he just rips on people.
Yeah.
He should be able to take a couple. I mean, think about that. This is this was 2 weeks ago, and he's still in his head about Shannon Drayer ripping him about his athleticism.
I think he's doing it with a grin. I know. He takes it well. He took it well when I said he ran like Jesus Montero. He took that in stride. A very slow stride, but he took it in stride.
Were you there when he was on the field?
No. I saw the video he posted.
I've seen the videos. It's all highlight reel too. I mean, what about in between the highlight, whether it's comedy or good plays? I want to see how he's looking. Swing number 6, swing number 7 that we didn't see.
You think he was gassed after the first 4 swings?
Gassed, maybe missing balls by 4 feet. Who knows?
All right, coming up, it turns out DK Metcalf never got on board with the Seahawks coaching staff last year. We're going to hear about that when we sweep the dial. Coming up, it's Wyman and Bob with Ryan Roland Smith, and this is Seattle Sports on 710.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
What do you love about the Uchenna Nwosu signing?
I just love that he gave the team a team-friendly deal. And let's not forget, when he's healthy, my man had 10 sacks, right? He played over 900 snaps for the Seahawks that year. He was healthy, only 12 games after that. But when he is healthy, he's volleying on the edge. You can run some stunts with him and DeMarcus or whoever else is in there. This is a great signing. You need his leadership, his intensity. It's going to be nice.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Homeowners, what's happening up on your roof? Any idea? I can tell you I have no idea what's going on my roof. I never get up there, and I don't plan to, but I know that's a big, expensive problem if it becomes a problem up there. So I had Asset Roofing come out and do an inspection. I had them do it about a little over a year ago, and they had highlighted some areas, just took pictures, circled it there, and said, let's keep an eye on this. We'll come back and check it out. So I just basically needed an update. What's going on up there? So they got up there and did the same exact thing. They crushed it. They got there early. Communication was great. Took pictures of some areas that keep an eye on. They did some moss removal. Sent me a very detailed email saying, here's what we did. Here's what we recommend. Here's what to watch. And more importantly, it gave me peace of mind. So I got out in front of any problem that could have turned into a big, expensive problem. And you just don't get that when you're hiring other contractors out there. It's just the nature of the business. But when you're hiring Asset Roofing, you're hiring an asset. They've been there for over 2 decades. They are the best in the business, and they are the exact opposite of that typical bad contractor out there. So whether you need just an inspection or you know what's going on, you need a repair, you need a roof replacement, check into Asset Roofing. As I said, best in the business, could not recommend them high enough. You either hire a liability or you hire an asset. Head to assetroofingco.com. That's assetroofingco.com.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, dream engagement rings are our specialty. We have the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds, hand-picked in every price range, ready to compare side by side. Shop online at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
The nonprofit Puget Sound Senior Baseball League plays real baseball on the best fields. Final tryouts for adults ages 18 to 65 and older are this Sunday, March 23rd at Interlake High School in Bellevue. With 10 divisions featuring different age and skill levels, there's room for almost every ball player, from ex-Little Leaguers to high school and even former college and pros. Get all the info at pssbl.com. That's pssbl.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Opening day is just days away, and we want to send you and a friend to experience it like never before. Get front row access to the opening ceremonies, player introductions, the first pitch, and more, all from the field. To enter, just open the Seattle Sports app and hit the Win tab for all the details. You can enter once per day, so the more you enter, the better your chances. This contest runs through March 21st. Seattle Sports, home of the Mariners, and your home for opening day.
Play ball!
Four down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Georgetown License reminds parents to enroll your kids in a positive youth program. Sports, hobbies, and community activities improve overall health and performance in school. These programs decrease drug use and violence and develop self-discipline and leadership skills. Let's team together this year to help our kids reach their full potential. Best wishes to all our kids from the entire team at Georgetown License, taking care of all your vehicle and vessel licensing needs for over 30 years. Online at georgetownlicense.com.
Well, the longer days, the sunny breaks in the weather, they've got me dreaming of summer, right? Getting out in the golf course, heading on vacation, or just enjoying our beautiful Northwest region. Make this summer one to remember by looking and feeling your absolute best. You can do it, and if you start right now, you can accomplish that goal before Memorial Day weekend. It's Mike Salk here, and 45 days is all it takes. You can lose almost a pound each day. I lost 35 total with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, and I'll let you in a little secret. Those 45 days, they're not even that hard. No crazy dieting, no cardio or crazy exercise. Definitely no pills or injections with any kind of potentially scary side effects. None of that. You're eating healthy, delicious meals that you make for yourself and buy at the grocery store, and you watch the pounds absolutely fall off. Find out if you can do it. I know you can. A 15-minute call is all it takes. No obligation. Schedule it right now at eastsideweightlossklinik.com. You got nothing to lose other than like a ton of weight. Go to eastsideweightlossklinik.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
Oh, Ryan's trying to hijack this segment, talk about bowling, but we're not going to have that on air right now. So, another sport you're probably bad at. Yeah.
Well, no, someone asked me if I was a fan of Jason Belmonte.
Who's that?
Are you kidding me? Jason Belmonte? He's a PBA bowler.
Oh, how did I not know that?
Yeah, he
Brady knew.
When he first broke in, he focused on power a ton. He wanted to break pins after studying of the professional who had the ability to make the ball dance. He simplified. No, I'm just reading this.
Yeah.
Is he Australian?
I said, yeah, no, he's Australian. I saw this in the text line because I read them all, by the way, and I get offended by all of them. But no, and Brady and I were just having this epic conversation. I was learning so much about bowling. I don't know nothing about it.
Yeah,
not lawn bowls. We're talking 10 pin, the real deal.
By the way,
oil.
You missed the shot Lefko took at you.
It's Mean Tax Day.
He said another sport that you're not good at.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How about that?
I missed that one.
You did miss it. Okay, I made it pretty obvious, but all right. Well, let's learn about Rowdy Tellez because he was explaining that his name is actually the exact opposite of who he is.
I don't really fit my name. I'll give you that. I'm not very rowdy. I'm a fairly calm kind of person. I like to make jokes and mess around, but I don't get too out of line. I'm kind of a homebody. Just like to be around, like to hunt, like to fish, just kind of be outside. But pretty calm person. So I don't really fit my name. I wouldn't say I'm an interesting person.
You know his real first name?
No, I shouldn't I? I don't.
It's Ryan.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Legend.
There you go.
Put him on the roster. Let's go.
Ryan Tellez.
Yeah,
Nothing rowdy about him, but he's an interesting guy. He's you were going through his numbers earlier. I mean, he had 1 year where he hit 35 home runs back in 2022. 35 home runs, drove in 89, and that's the best year he's had in terms of production. His next best year was 21 home runs. The last two seasons, 13 each. So despite his size, he's listed at 6'4", 270 is what he's listed at.
He's big, man. Did you meet him when you were down there?
He walked by us. We didn't talk with him or anything, but he's a large dude. He is.
But he kind of has that. He has that factor to him where you're looking like, whoa, you kind of take a step back. Like, do you remember Adam Dunn?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh man, I never forget one of the first games I ever pitched in. Like, big leaguers just look bigger. I remember like digging in. I hadn't looked up yet. I heard his name over the PA. I had to step off the mound. I was like, "Oh, that dude's huge."
You knew you were either going to strike him out or he was going to hit a home run.
Right. Oh yeah.
It was all or nothing with him.
For sure.
Sweeping the dial.
Well, this is a football quote here, Ryan, but I think you would offer some interesting perspective. So DK Metcalf was talking about dealing with a new coach. Because he had come in, he got used to one coach. So I don't know if, you deal with this in baseball with a new coach or a new manager, but DK was saying on that Get Got pod that we played some from yesterday with Marshawn and with Mike Robb that he couldn't get really on the same page with the new coaching staff.
Well, we felt it throughout the whole season. So Locke been there since 2019, since my rookie year. And since 2019, it was me, him, Gino, and Jay Reed. Those were the only four. Well, and Mike Dixon and J-Mon. But we were the only 6 people left from that 2019 team. The team that beat the 49ers, or the team that felt actually that real camaraderie in the building. Yeah. And now when you start switching out OCs and switching out head coaches, you start getting different messages from what you're used to. Like, we didn't go in there screaming, always compete anymore, or the Pete messages were gone.
Completely gone.
So now it's just 6 outsiders.
Yeah, I mean, look, new coaching staff, they're not going to come in singing the same song and using the same catchphrases and, points of inspiration that the previous regime had. I totally get that. I would assume they all get it. It just sounds like nobody really took to it. Being different is one thing. You're going to get that. New manager, new head coach, depending on the sport, whatever. They're going to come in with their message and their method, and you should expect it. But what I guess the important part of what he just said that stood out to me is it didn't sound like there was a lot of buy-in from people into it.
Yeah, well, first of all, I think, and I watch guys do this all the time. I asked Dan Wilson with day one, how did you address the team? Ron Washington with his cell phone ban in the locker room. Situations, it's always going to evolve, and the guys who sit around and expect the same messaging or expect things to have the same culture, same vibe from even a year prior or 5 years or whatever it may be, man, it's never going to work out that way, and it just creates nothing but friction if that's what you're going to expect things to be like, because it's never the way. Things evolve every single year. You have to come with new messaging, whether you're a new coach or an existing coach.
Sweeping the dial.
I just kind of like this coaching message. So Drake head coach Ben McCollum, his team was the 11 seed. They beat the 6 seed Missouri yesterday. But he afterwards was just like, yeah, we weren't intimidated. We were pretty confident we could beat this team.
I'd be lying if I didn't say I didn't expect it. I expected it. That's what I expected. I expected exactly this. I expected them to compete. I brought winners with me. That's what I brought. And, I guess my superpower is finding winners, finding tough kids, and believing in them. And so I kind of expected this. I did. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. I know I've tried to be humble in other ones, but, man, I believe in these kids.
And they feed off of that. That's how he should feel about his team. He should have confidence and they feed off of that, and obviously it worked because they came out with a big win.
Man, I'm telling you right now, that recruiting game in college sports, it's different now with NIL money. I get it. But it is a science, I'm telling you, on both ends too, from the way you deal with players from the get-go. And then, again, now all of a sudden you got a situation where players can go into transfer portals or something they're not happy with. You got to deal with that. But the recruiting game, again, these head coaches, assistant coaches, they all have to be in on it. It is a science, man. You got to read these kids so well, and you have to present, like you said too, Bob, a certain way to some of these young men.
Ryan, we appreciate you, man. I know you've got your previous engagement, your big-time gala ball that you're going to, the top hat, tuxedo, the whole thing, and a cane. You're going to look like Mr. Peanut. It'll be great.
Exactly.
But
Downtown Edmonds.
We appreciate you, brother. We'll see you on Monday.
I appreciate it. Too bad I was having too much fun, man. I don't want to leave, but I appreciate it, guys. We'll see you Monday. Looking forward to it.
Have a great weekend, man.
Thanks, buddy.
There you go. There's Ryan Rowland-Smith. He'll be back with us on Monday. We'll have Mike Lefkoe stepping in for the last hour, which should provide a lot of material for your mean text.
No, perfect timing.
866-979-3776, powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. That'll come up at 5:45. Meanwhile, the Seahawks are taking a big leap of faith when it comes to their O-line this season. We'll get into that conversation coming up next. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
We are the home of the Mariners.
Big news, by God. We're excited to announce a multi-year partnership extension between the Seattle Mariners and Seattle Sports / Bonneville Seattle. So all Mariner games will continue to be heard on our platforms, including 7:10 a.m. The legend that is Rick Riz.
We couldn't be happier on behalf of the Seattle Mariners. We love the fact that we're going to be back on 710 Seattle Sports. Thank you so much. We're thrilled.
On Seattle Sports
And the Seattle Sports app.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION.
This is the story of the one. He's responsible for keeping a leading healthcare facility clean and safe. And he trusts Grainger's high-quality HVAC cleaning and safety products, combined with their world-class supply chain, to consistently deliver, ensuring he's covered inside and out, so he can focus on keeping his facility clean to help protect the health of everyone inside. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Hey, partner, what's one word that comes to mind when Truck Month rolls around at West Hills Autoplex?
Well, that's easy. Work, play, push, pull, haul, tow, trails, snow, Ford, Chevy, Ram, GMC, Toyota, trucks and trucks and trucks and...
Celebrate Truck Month at the West Hills Autoplex, just off the Auto Center Way exit, Highway 3, Bremerton, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Hazelwood has it! Oh! Trucks and trucks and trucks.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity. So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and 1 unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus 1 unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus 1 unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Over the past decade, Washington state politicians have doubled state spending with no improvements to the issues we care about. Instead, we now have the 3rd highest cost of living in the nation and a $12 billion deficit. It's time to tell legislators we need better results, not bigger taxes. Act now at affordablewashington.org. Paid for by people for an affordable Washington and Olympia, Washington. Top 5 donors are Washington Alliance for Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Alaska Air.
I started Davis Law Group in 1994 to fight for the underdog. And as our team has grown, we've stayed true to that mission. Today, Davis Law Group is known for providing excellent service and even better results. Visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com to get your free book on car accident law.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, dream engagement rings are our specialty. We have the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds, handpicked in every price range, ready to compare side by side. Shop online at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
It's Power Torque Tools DIY Days at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Lifetime guaranteed Power Torque professional hand tools only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Jackson Hewitt wants you to save money on tax prep. We're saving money by having our intern rap in this commercial.
Don't stress, Jackson Hewitt's got expert tax prep, $149 or less. Yo, some tax guys lie about price. They got hidden fees, that ain't nice. Ain't nice. Don't ignore MC Kevin's rhyme, cause this deal's for a limited time. $149.
For tax prep that's $149 or less, hurry into Jackson Hewitt today.
No cap.
Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Your favorite Seattle sports show is available anywhere you go through the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center Proton Therapy. Full shows and interviews, exclusive video and articles from the home of the Seahawks and Mariners.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Seahawks announced earlier today they've signed former Washington State star wide receiver River Craycraft, along with re-signing linebacker Josh Ross. And the Mariners unveiled a direct-to-consumer streaming service today called Roots Sports Stream, which will cost $19.99 per month. The men's NCAA tournament has returned to Seattle for the first time since 2015, and the game's happening at Climate Pledge Arena today. Colorado State, seed-wise, it was an upset. They beat number 5 Memphis. They were favored in some pools, though. Number 4 seed Maryland destroys Grand Canyon 81-49. Akron and Arizona underway right now. Then Oregon and Liberty follow as the final game of the night from Climate Pledge.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
We got Mean Text coming up at 5:45 today.
First mean text of the day already in.
Just looking up at the
Pretty
camera,
insulting.
the stream on the camera, you can, if you're watching on the stream, you can see my right shoulder and an empty chair in the other spot.
That's what they think of me.
Look at that right there. That's quite a shoulder right there. So there you go. There's the.
I don't deserve to be on video, Bob. I guess that's the moral of that story.
Lefko's just kind of this weird voice that's here. He's just not. There's no physical part of him in the studio, but he's going to fill in this last hour, so that should give you plenty of material for Mean Text coming up at 5:45 at 866-979-3776, powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. We'll get to that coming up. But Seahawks, the topic remains the offensive line. And we had John Schneider on for the John Schneider Show yesterday and talked to him about that. Very specific. And I give John credit because, I asked him a very direct question about their history with the O-line and saying, look, the number of O-linemen you guys have drafted and then signed to a second deal, or even a third, is a very short list. Because he talks about how many, what do you say, they're second in all of the NFL since
in drafting
O-linemen since I can't remember the year, but like they've taken a lot of swings. So that's good in that they're trying to address it. Bad that they're not identifying the right talent, because nobody's getting signed to a second deal outside of like Okung and Britt and Ethan Posick, I think was the other one we talked about.
Probably Charles Cross.
So you
haven't gotten anyone until now, him. So yeah,
but I mean, that's over a long period of time and a lot of O-line draft picks. So he had talked to, and he addressed it, and to his credit said, yeah, that's a very fair question, and talked about the fact that they need to do a better job of identifying and developing O-line talent.
I think the money spent on our offensive linemen that we've let out of here is top 3 in the National Football League. And so the guys that have moved on and gotten, received other contracts. So there is a narrative that, well, they can't evaluate offensive linemen, but the rest of the league sees it different because they're signing our guys. So yes, we have missed on some guys, no question. There's also a level of we haven't developed guys either. Because they've gone on and played pretty well at other places. Maybe the guys are a little bit better, than we're giving them credit for here in our organization. And maybe we need to do a better job of saying, hey, no, this guy is not maybe. We should. We shouldn't let this guy go because he could go be a solid starter somewhere else. Offensive line as a whole, because the talent level is so different than all the other positions, it's a hard position to evaluate. I mean, that's why we have, we got Hutch helping us, we got Jason Peters.
Yeah, so they got some great, O-linemen that have played this game at an incredibly, Hall of Fame level. In the case of Steve Hutchinson, and he talked about Peters being part of it as well. So you've got educated minds, educated eyes on the product. It would seem, and I don't know where their flaw is, where the disconnect is in terms of developing. And they have had a lot of turnover. You've had a lot of, even with Pete, you had different offensive coordinators. You had, different O-line coaches come in. So maybe it's just the lack of stability that's led to it. But it did make me feel better that he acknowledged it's been an issue. Now, how do they fix it?
Yeah, that's the big risk and the big gamble they're counting on, that this coaching staff is the one to do it. Because I did think it was a pretty frank and candid admission to say, yeah, you know what? Maybe we messed up when, and he didn't say the name, but drawing back on what Mark Schlereth told you guys, Damian Lewis. Mm-hmm. Damian Lewis having a great year, according to Schlereth, and we'll trust his opinion because he knows offensive line play, unlike few other people do, because he has played it for a long time at a high caliber level. So to draw on that comparison, okay, you let Damian Lewis leave. He signed a pretty big contract at the time with the Carolina Panthers. If John Schneider now is seeing that and saying, well, you know what? Maybe just what we were coaching him, the scheme we were putting these guys in. Because another thing that's really important that Big Ray will say, or Mark Schlereth will say, is that all 5 linemen have to work together. If you're putting someone on an island, they're not getting help. They're not taking advantage of what you can do well. So whether that's we are not actually teaching technique well or not coaching all 5 of these together, they're aware of that. And I think it is a definitive gamble to say, well, now this staff will do it, but they've committed to it in a way where it feels like they haven't before, with just the sheer amount of coaching specifically devoted to that. Like John Benton is the offensive line coach. Then you have the run game coordinator, and then you have the offensive coordinator. All 3 of those guys having a role where in the past it did feel like, okay, you have the offensive coordinator and the offensive line coach.
Right.
And now maybe this definitive focus is what helps kind of change the way that this line has performed in the past.
Well, and you ask an interesting question here in talking about McDonald and his ability to turn a defense around that was really poor the previous season. So you bring in a defensive mind, and then they started out poorly. You were like, well, wait, hang on. We got the defensive genius here, and this defense is terrible. And then they make a couple moves with the linebackers, and all of a sudden Witherspoon and Leonard Williams are going nuts, and it's a different defense. Then they end the year as one of the top defenses in the NFL for that period of time. So the question being, well, can they do the same on the offensive side of things? I don't know. Because I think there's so much unknown at very key spots, right? Your quarterback, the most important position in all of sports, is an unknown. I have no idea if we're going to get Sam Darnold of 16 games last year or Sam Darnold of the last 2 games in the previous 6 seasons. No idea. He may be great. I'm rooting for him to be awesome. I want that guy to be the biggest bargain in all of sports is what I want, because it is a favorable deal. But we don't know what that's going to be. We don't know what the new system is, how it's going to cater to the O-line, how it's going to help the O-line, how it's going to help the running game. We're anticipating we can look at the Saints and say, well, that's what they did there, but those are different participants. Those are different players. So does that work here? It might. I hope so. I mean, they certainly believe so. They went through their interview process, and Kubiak, dazzled them to the point they said, that's our guy. So I'm anticipating a step forward, but is it going to be to the extent that the defense turned around last year? There's no way to answer that definitively until we watch.
Well, I think definitively they're banking on improvement because they haven't gone out and signed any free agent linemen, according to the names that have been out there. They haven't gone out and found an external fix. So their bet and their faith is that this offensive staff, to some extent, maybe it's not the extent of the defensive improvement, but we know just a little bit of improvement where you're not putting a quarterback in a situation that doesn't make sense, where he's dropping back 53 times a game. And if it's obvious to everyone, if it's obvious to us and fans watching that, why are you dropping back and passing? Why is Geno Smith in the pocket for so long? Why can you not execute anything on 3rd and short last year? So with Darnold, from everything we've heard, where he's good at play action, they want to get the ball out of his hands quickly, all of that mitigates some of that risk you have with the O-line. So that's the risk they're going with. I mean, it's a clear plan. We know what they're doing. They're banking on the coaching, the development of the guys they have. And John Schneider said yesterday, I think, he likes Anthony Bradford, what he could show. There's that big unknown with Christian Haynes because he's so young. He just had 1 season in the NFL. So that's the path. But the risk is kind of like, with the Mariners, you guys have brought up, by not doing anything, or the perception of not doing anything, if this plan doesn't work, then you're opening yourself up to a lot of criticism.
Certainly they are. Yeah. This is, I mean, there are people that, we talked about when he said, and McDonald says the same thing, that they like the young guys they've got.
Mm-hmm.
And then McDonald said they're allowed to get better. He's right. He's right. But I think people wanted an immediate fix. They wanted, hey, we just signed this guy, and this guy's a starter and has been a starter, and he's going to fix a problem. He's going to be an immediate solution. That's what they want. They want immediacy. And I get it, because the line, much like the Mariner offense, has been a story for season after season after season. It's just been problematic to varying degrees, but it's been the weakness. It's been a problem. So I think there's a certain amount of fatigue with talking about the O-line for a lot of people. Like, just go out and commit. Commit to fixing this thing. I think they feel like they're not committing to it. I think is the view of a lot of the fans out there, that they're not. They're trying to do it with this, this guy, he's going to be good. This guy's going to be good here. We got him in the 5th round. We got him in the 4th round. They're not committing. So I think that's where the lack of patience kicks in, that it's just been an ongoing thing that's not being fixed. So we'll see if the young guys, I certainly allow for those guys to get better. They may turn into superstars. Again, much like Darnold. It's unknown. It didn't look great last year, but you had guys that were drafted as projects that got thrown into the fire. I don't know what realistically you were expecting. Abe Lucas everybody got hurt. Everybody got hurt on that line. So you had so much attrition that, all of a sudden Jarrell's out there playing and Sundell's playing and guys that you look at going, yeah, they're projects. So I don't know if it's fair. My point being, I don't know how fair it is to grade them on what you saw last year.
Yeah, so let's put it this way, as we kind of keep talking about the young guys and the development. If you have a healthy offensive line, you add this coaching, then you add what we assume will be some highly drafted interior offensive lineman. They have 3 picks in the first 52. I'm going to go out on a limb and say one of those is going to be an offensive lineman. So, okay, let's put it this way. You have Charles Cross as your left tackle. Abe Lucas is your right tackle. Do they believe in Olu? Maybe, or they go get a center. So you have someone new there, and then you potentially have another left guard or right guard. Probably a left guard, because if what John Schneider said about Anthony Bradford or Christian Haynes, you really only need one position to hit on in the draft, maybe 2. So if you get with your first pick or pick number 50, a plug-and-play guy that comes in and makes an impact, all of a sudden, this line looks a lot better than that attrition that you're talking about last year where, yeah, they had guys who probably weren't ready to step in. Now those guys are backups. Like Satoa Lamea, he's a backup who got that experience. Or Jalen Sundell, he steps in as a backup, but you're not relying on him to play every single snap and start a handful of games.
Moving on with other remarks from John Schneider. He talked about the new offensive staff, and he talked about just the level of optimism they have with what they see in the building.
And that's what was great about these guys coming in, Rick Dennison and JB, and they know exactly what they want, and they like our guys, and they're like, that guy's not better than this guy. We want to work with this guy. As Mike, as you guys have heard him say before, like that's the number one quality in a coach is like teaching and getting the best out of people and developing. It was very exciting that they were excited about our guys.
And I'll say this again, we've said this before about Mike McDonald and in conjunction with John, that they've shown an ability to turn around quick on players, coaches. I mean, I honestly would have bet Grubb got another year. Like, all right, we had to rush this. We started out behind the 8 ball, so to speak, and let's give it a year where he gets a full training camp, full time to prep for the draft and institute what he wants to do here. And they were like, no, this is not a fit. It's not working. We're changing. Same with Dodson, same with Baker at the linebacker spots. It's not working. We're making a change here. Almost with Geno to some extent. Hey, we made an offer. We haven't heard boo.
Yeah.
All right. We're making a change. They've just shown that we're not going to hang out and wait. So if they are hanging out and waiting on a player or a group of players, it gives me a little bit of confidence, because I think if McDonald saw, hey, man, this Sundell kid, Lamea, they don't have it. They don't have it. I think we'd see maybe a more concerted effort to at least go after some of the free agents that were out there, or, we'll see what they do in the draft. But I have faith that if they look at it as a problem that's not going to be rectified anytime soon, they're not going to deal with it.
Yeah, and I think, McDonald has earned that trust because of everything you just said, and because he's come in and fixed the defense. That you think, okay, he's not an offensive coach, he delegates, but he recognizes what can make a good offense or what good coaching is. And so he definitively wanted Clint Kubiak. They went out and got Clint Kubiak. He allows Kubiak to get all of his guys, that continuity of everyone that worked with Kubiak. They're all coming with him. So there isn't any adjustment of, okay, you know what, I did something this way. Oh, you did it this way in this other stop. No. They're all on one page, and that's all going to be passed down to this offense. So coaching miles ahead of where they were at this point last year.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's kind of tiptoeing around each other like, I do it this way, or we did it this way in this stop. No, everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, it's all been established now. Everybody knows what the game plan is.
Yeah.
So one more from John, and he's specific about Anthony Bradford here. And Bradford's a curious guy because you do look at him. He's got everything you'd want in an O-lineman. He's got kind of a nasty temperament. He's very strong. He's very big. But he's got those lapses where you're going, what happened? What is he doing there? And Dave says he, kind of checks out here and there. I don't know if it's as simple as that, but if they can unlock him, that guy solves a huge problem, does he not? That solves one of the holes we see in the middle of that line. And he looks like he's got natural Pro Bowl talent. Like if he just was consistent, this guy could be one of the best, most dominating guards in the league. But to this point, he just hasn't done it. And John talked about him.
And when that guy goes, and when he's healthy, and when he's right, that guy is like a monster. He moves people. Yeah. He can get to the second level and bury people. No, he's got some nastiness to him, and that's what we want to be. And we want guys that can run off the ball and get to the second level because we're going to be doing a lot of that, right?
Yeah, I don't know how what the right button to push is with him. That's up to the coaching staff, but. Man, you just somehow try to impart on him. Dude, you are in line to make a lot of money in this league and have a very long career. But you're also in a position where somebody's going to pull the plug on you and go, we tried. This guy doesn't get it. And then what are you going to do? You're going to be out of the league before you're 30? What do you do for a job? I would just try to get real with him. Just go, dude, you can set up yourself with generational wealth because as you see O-linemen are not growing on trees out here, good O-linemen, and you have the potential to be a great one if you can just, whatever is issue, focus, get you focused on every snap. Simple as that.
Yeah, we often talk about coaching as it relates to quarterbacks because that's the easiest one to see how situation makes an impact. The classic Mahomes example where he was with Andy Reid, so he thrived. Compare that to Baker Mayfield and all the dysfunction, or even Sam Darnold when he got drafted by the Jets. It does apply to offensive linemen as well. We just, the general public, all of us, don't know enough about the nuances of coaching the O-line to say, well, this coach is markedly different than this one. But if you can apply that principle to what you have with quarterbacks and their coaches, same thing with the offensive linemen, this front office and this coaching staff is banking on the fact that there's something there that hasn't been unlocked, and that's why they haven't signed anyone. I mean, obviously the Seahawks want to make their O-line better. There's frustration. John Schneider admitted that. But it's not like they're saying, no, we're actively not going to make our line better. This is the path that they think is the best way to do that.
I hope they figure it out, man. I hope, because I'm so tired of talking O-line, man.
I never knew we'd talk so much O-line when it comes to an NFL season.
I was talking about before you ever got here. It was because it's been that consistent, to varying degrees. They've had some really good O-linemen within the 5. But then you might have 2. You're like, hey man, these guys are good. But then these other 3, they're just guys, and it's just been problematic for years. And again, they got away with it. They found a way around it for years, and a lot of it was because of the mobility of Russell Wilson, and because Marshawn was just a monster who wouldn't go down and would just turn a 3-yard loss into a 2-yard gain. I mean, it was just they just found ways around it. They haven't been able to do that as of late. So I think especially with a new quarterback in there and Darnold, who's not the most mobile guy. He's not a burner. He's not, he can move, but he's not a guy like Lamar Jackson by any stretch. You're going to need to protect that guy, especially in a new setting, a new system. Don't you want him to feel as comfortable as possible back there?
It was the Vikings guy, right, that said with you guys that he got hit a lot, and towards the end of the year, that started to wear on him in those final 2 games that we kind of hang our hats on that's why he didn't do well. And, of course, the call that we played. Everyone's sick of us playing now, the 9 sacks in the playoff games. So, you want to keep Sam Darnold from taking something like that.
Yeah. I mean, get him off on the right foot, man. Get him going on the right foot and in lockstep with this offense and feeling comfortable and getting a sense of, okay, I've got time. I can go through my progressions here rather than, at least Geno knew what he was kind of in store for. I think Sam, he will by the end of training camp and by the end of preseason. He's going to have an idea of what he's dealing with, certainly. But I think it was an easier adjustment for Geno because he had been here and he'd been with these guys and he understood what was being asked out there. Now, maybe he felt the same way about Grubb, that DK and Lockett, and it sounds like a lot of the offense felt. Maybe
it's interesting. It sounds like there was a lot more dysfunction than we realized. There were concerns about Grubb and making that adjustment from just college to NFL, but the whole, hey, if his actual team had those same hesitations, then, well, that explains a lot about that dysfunction and why things didn't work behind the scenes a lot of the time.
Yeah, and the hard part about this, the whole O-line thing, and again, I get the urgency from fans. I feel the same way. Like, what are you doing? Take a swing. Take a swing here. Let's improve this because it's been such a long-standing problem. But the big unknown is the new offensive coordinator, the new O-line coach, and what, everybody, we're playing you evidence from players that were in that locker room last year going, yeah, nobody felt comfortable with what was going on with Grubb. Obviously, that translated to what we saw. So was the line bad because the offense was disjointed, or was the line bad because they don't have talent? The coaches and the GM are telling you, no, the talent's there, and all the coaches agree. And it sounds like if they didn't agree, they are more than welcome to pipe up and say, this guy's not good. He doesn't work. Kubiak could have come in and said, is this not going to work? We need more talent here. And to this point, they haven't. Yeah. So I'm banking on that, Mike. I'm banking on the expertise of the guys that are in that building that they brought in. And this is, again, a group that is very quick to make change when they see something's wrong. So that's what I'm banking on, that they don't see a lot of wrong that we all on the outside are going, this is all wrong. They're bad. But they're going, hang on a minute. They're better than you think. Watch what we do.
Yeah, and on the surface, when you just see, okay, Geno Smith is traded for a draft pick or DK Metcalf is traded for a draft pick, it's like, well, what is this return we're getting? Well, for teams, that's valuable draft capital to build up multiple spots on, say, an O-line, because a second-round pick, you can get a starter. Many teams have gotten starters these past handful of drafts in the second round, right around where the Seahawks are drafting. You can find centers there. The Chiefs did it. The Jets have done it. The Rams found a starting guard in the second round a couple years ago. So you can get picks there, and now the Seahawks have 2 right in that range and then 2 third-round picks. So they have a lot that they can get done.
All right, coming up, the big contenders from yesterday reappear in our Wyman of the Week. That is coming up next. It's Wyman and Bob. Mike Lefkoe in for Wyman, Seattle Sports on 710.
Baseball is back. Julio Rodriguez and the 2025 Mariners are ready to play ball.
Gone! Julio! Home run!
Opening day is just 6 days away.
It's a mentality. It's time to battle. It's time to fight.
Seattle Sports will be live from Soto all day, including Wyman and Bob at Victory Hall from 2 to 6 p.m. Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners, and your exclusive home for opening day.
Down, set, Pizza Hut, Make the play of the game with Pizza Hut. Buy any large Pizza Hut pizza and get another one free. Use code HUT at checkout. That's code HUT for a buy one, get one free exclusive offer to 710 Seattle Sports listeners. No one out pizzas the Hut.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder. an equal housing opportunity builder.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chonky chonkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the Robo-Vacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
Hey, partner, what's one word that comes to mind when truck month rolls around at West Hills Autoplex?
Well, that's easy. Work, play, push, pull, haul, tow, trails, snow, Ford, Chevy, Ram, GMC, Toyota, trucks and trucks and trucks and...
Celebrate Truck Month at the West Hills Autoplex, just off the Auto Center Way exit, Highway 3, Bremerton, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Hazelwood has it! Trucks and trucks and trucks.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Did you know colon cancer can be detected early or prevented through regular screening?
I have detected Around Earth is the greatest lie ever.
Okay, Roger. My uncle just passed away and I inherited his cockatoo, Roger. He was a member of the Flat Earth Society, so Roger picked up on some of his rhetoric. Anyway, screening, such as a colonoscopy.
Screen these! Screen these!
Roger that, Roger. Moving on. Colonoscopies can detect early-stage colon or rectal cancer or even polyps, which are abnormal growths that can turn into cancer over time.
I'm a Flat Earth walker.
Come on, Roger. What did I do to my uncle to deserve you? You don't get to choose what you inherit, just like colon cancer. Unlike Roger here, I believe in science. And science says that if colon cancer runs in your family, you're more likely to develop it yourself. Talk to your doctor about when you should start screening. Find out more at coloncancercoalition.org. A message from the Colon Cancer Coalition.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Why, man? Why?
Lunch has been canceled today due to lack of hustle. Deal with it.
He's a habitual line stepper.
What were you thinking? What are you doing?
Why are you the way that you are?
It's the Wyman of the Week.
Wyman is presented by Mazda of Everett. A reminder, we got mean text coming up in the next segment, so you still have about 15 minutes to get creative at 866-979-3776. Powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. Did you not have any faith that Brady knew what he was doing back there?
Yeah.
You just think
you never do.
Yeah. You just thought,
I've done this for 4 years now.
Mean text. He's got no clue what this segment is.
No.
Let me educate him. He's uncertain what we do here.
Let me be fair here. In my defense, normally we do this at 3:45, so I was like, oh, I just better make sure he has it. Fully confident in Brady and his ability back there.
Mike, I can read the show sheet.
Okay.
I can see the words on there.
You're right. I didn't have confidence that Brady could read. So my bad about that,
wow,
Brady.
look at him. He's he's just doing mean shots here. He doesn't even
At
need
least
the
I
text.
picked the team in my bracket that I like.
You went to what?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. You went to Central Washington and played baseball. So we know student athletes don't go to class. So I didn't know if you could read.
You have to pass to play.
Theoretically.
He didn't go to the big time school where somebody would take the test for him.
You actually had to pass.
He had to do his own work.
Right.
He had to do his
I
own
didn't get
work.
someone to do it for me. What are you thinking?
All right, entry number 1 in the WHYMAN of the week. This is Dan Patrick, and he's explaining why he doesn't like Major League Baseball starting the season in a foreign country, because we just had the Tokyo series there with the Dodgers and the Cubs, and the Dodgers won both games there, and he doesn't like it.
Do I want us exporting opening day? I don't. I understand it's business, certainly with the Dodgers and the number of players from, whether it's Korea, whether it's Japan. I get it. I understand it. I don't like it, but I understand it. It's business. I know we're trying to grow the business there, and the Dodgers have done a wonderful job, and Japan is a great market. All right. Get off my lawn. I know.
At least he knew it was going to be unpopular, but still. I mean, this seems like
I kind of
needlessly complaining.
Yeah, I get what he's saying, but I don't have an issue with it because there are 162 games, and the Dodgers and Cubs will both come back home and play spring training games after those 2 games. And then they'll have their opening days. I know he's talking about the opening day of just the season in totality. He's not worried about those 2 specific teams, but you're going to have it. It's going to be a big deal. It's going to be all over SportsCenter and MLB Now. It's going to be all the pomp and circumstance will remain. It is not affected by that at all. And individually, the Cubs will have a big opening day, and the Dodgers will. So, look, it's my bigger issues with football because you got a precious 17 games, and somebody loses a home game when they go to Brazil or they go to England or whatever they're going to keep going to. They're going to keep expanding that schedule is growing. I don't love that.
Yeah, and they did that as an opener for the first time this past year.
Yeah, I don't love because it'd be different if you had 162 games and it's like, okay, who cares? 2 games there. But when you're talking about you got 17 and one year you got 8 home games, the other year you've got 9, getting one taken away because you're going to play in England, I just don't love it. I don't love that. But the baseball thing,
plus it's not taking away anyone's opening day ceremony and celebration. The Dodgers are going to have their opening day celebration. The Cubs are as well, like you said. You know what actually, just in a weird kind of quirk, annoys me? I'm fine with it, but it's annoying because it throws you off guard. Teams that don't open the season at home, then like a week later doing their big opening day ceremony. Yeah. You've played 8 games already. Like, what are you doing here? So that's going to happen to the Mariners because we were looking at the schedule. It's like, well, why are they playing a 1:35 game on a Friday in San Francisco? Well, for the Giants, it's their opening day celebration. So 7 games into the season, it's like, oh, here's our big opening day. No, you've already played a week of baseball. So that actually, if we're going to complain about things, get off my lawn, to echo Dan Patrick's complaint there, that's what I want to complain about.
Yeah, I've got more of a problem with the patches on the uniforms.
Oh, I thought you were going to say football, but those.
Yeah, if we're going to talk about problems with baseball and things going on, I don't like it. I don't like the Nintendo patches. I don't like it.
You probably hate hockey then, and then hopefully baseball doesn't go this way because they have patches on the uniform and helmet sponsors. So they are NASCAR-like. So they have it everywhere now.
Do they?
So the helmet
maybe
has...
I just haven't paid close enough attention to it.
Yeah, the helmet doesn't have like a team logo. It's got a sponsor. And then there's a jersey patch as well.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't feel as bad. I mean, helmets weren't always part of hockey. You had so many years where guys didn't wear helmets, right? So it's I'm not going to say a new piece of equipment, but it wasn't there from the inception. And obviously in baseball, they didn't have helmets in the very early days. They just wore the hat. But I don't know. There's just something about a baseball uniform that seems more sacred. Like, I don't know. It's
the Yankees certainly feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers uniforms never really changed. The Yankees uniform, the Tigers uniform. It's just there's a tradition in baseball that I don't think exists in the other sports. And when you start throwing logos on there for Nintendo or any other company that's been a bank or whatever is going to be out there, I know it's the future. I know it's coming. I'm not going to fight it. I'm just saying when you see the picture of it, I'm like, ugh. I just don't like it. I don't like it. All right. Entry number 2, DK Metcalf on the Get Got podcast explains why he was yelling at Grubb on the headset during that game against the San Francisco 49ers.
On that particular day, we were playing 49ers. They got this DB I've been going against since he was with we came in together. Mm-hmm. He plays for played with the Giants, so I went against him twice already. And then he was with the 49ers. So I'm like, okay, on third down, you have to run past him early because they're just going to sit at the sticks. On 3rd and 4, we call all hitches. Like, that's not running past him. Like, you have to scare people. Exactly. Yeah. He's waiting on it. So when he sat and knocked the ball down, I come to the sideline like, let me just get the headset. Maybe he don't need to hear it from you, or he may have missed the text. So I said, Grubb, can we please run by the guys? Like, they are sitting at the sticks on 3rd down. Like, in order to open up the underneath stuff, they got to be threading deep first. And that was the last week me and Locke did that. That was the last week me and Locke did any extra game.
Because it wasn't used. I'm putting in all this work, bro. We're the starters, too. It ain't like we just some slaps.
I just love Marshawn just kind of waking up in the corner and saying something. I'm not sure what he said back there, but yeah, previous to that portion of the clip, DK was talking about he and Tyler were on this group text with the wide receivers and I think their wide receiver coach. I don't know if the OC was on there as well, but that they would look at film and they're kind of going the extra mile, looking at their next opponent, saying, "Hey, man, this cornerback, you can exploit him this way," or "Here's what I see that they do well, and what they don't." Kind of scouting, and that none of whatever they were putting out there was being absorbed or acknowledged.
I understand the frustration. I don't like that DK explicitly laid it out there like that. Like, yeah, this guy was awful. And he's spilling the beans on all that because, we heard a clip in Sweeping the Dial about DK wanting to follow everything that Pete Carroll said and did. And that he kind of felt left out, like an outsider, he said. So what was Pete Carroll? One of his mantras, right? Protect the team. Mm-hmm. That just seems like sour grapes on the way out. You're with your friends. Yeah, but, it's guys
he's
that
protecting the Steelers
you've
now.
Been with. It's someone where, not to say that Ryan Grubb will get another chance in the NFL again because it didn't go well. Now he's probably not, because you have a high-profile player coming out there and saying, this guy didn't listen to us. We didn't like playing with him. It's just publicly admitting that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Funny story. Like, you heard Marshawn chiming in and all that stuff, but it seems way too much information now when you're already on your way out. And you kind of look back and
it's
you
better
take
than
shots at him.
If he would have said it while he was on the team, that would have been problematic.
Well, he's not going to say something like that on the team, clearly.
Right, exactly.
So I don't like that all of it came out.
I don't mind. I respect the honesty, and it sounds like he's not speaking for just himself. If he was just talking about me, and this is the big, he's talking about the group, and he was talking about, it just sounds like, look, the firing seemed like it was justified, I'll say, based on how that's being presented. Whether that's bad form for him to say it or not, some people probably feel that way. I don't. Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem. He was asked a question. I appreciate his candor. So we'll see how he does out there in Pittsburgh with whoever's going to be throwing him the ball and see if any of that comes out.
Aaron Rodgers, probably.
Maybe so. All right. Last one comes quickly from Evan Cohen explaining why he doesn't like upsets.
I'm fine with the upsets today and tomorrow.
Early rounds?
Starting Saturday and Sunday, I want no upsets. I want the best teams playing in the biggest of moments.
So why even have the tournament?
Well,
Some
I'm
teams
okay
are
with that too.
misseeded.
You're okay with what? Not having a tournament?
I'm okay with having less teams in theory in the tournament.
When you think about the tournament, what's the first word you think of? Cinderella.
Yes.
This is what makes the tournament great, is
for the next 2 days.
The unpredictability of it.
It's a weird take, man. I can't relate to that because some of the greatest stories in sports are based on upsets that you never saw. I mean, you go back to Joe Namath and the Jets and guaranteeing a win, and they were massive underdogs, and that became legend. Buster Douglas knocking out Mike Tyson, a 42-1 underdog.
Yeah. Or even in the NCAA tournament, Loyola Chicago knocking off a couple 1 seeds. And
those build
11 seed George
lore.
Mason.
Yeah. Those moments in any sport build the lore and build the anticipation, and it gets people tuned in for what they may see. Like, well, yeah, I know this team's a favorite, but this happened before and this happened before, so it's possible. It gives teams hope, gives fans hope, gets gamblers involved because they think it can happen because it has happened. But why would you want just chalk across the board? Like, okay, they've been the best team all season. They just ran through everybody in the playoffs. I mean, that's fine, but it's not fun.
It's not fun, especially for the NCAA tournament. Like pro sports, sure, you want the best teams playing each other. This is what makes this event special.
Yeah.
I mean, that opinion that we just heard might be one of the worst opinions I've ever heard about something sports related.
Upsets. That's just.
And he also wanted to narrow the field. He was like, no, they narrow the field. No upsets, less teams in the tournament. Nah.
Well, then just hand the trophy to Duke or to Florida or to whoever who all the one seeds. Just draw one of the name out of the hat and say, all right, you're the winner.
Not a college basketball guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Just sports, man. Sports are built on these dramatic moments. All right, today's your last chance to experience opening day like you never have before. Talking about front row access to the opening ceremonies, player introductions, the first pitch, and much more, all from the field. So to enter, all you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app and click the Win tab to find out how. If you don't have the app, all you need to do is text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776, and we will send you a link to download it. It's completely free. It's going to be a great event. All right, last chance. You still got a couple of minutes to get your mean text going at 866-979-3776, powered by Mac & Jack's Brewing Company. That's coming your way next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
When you're on the pitch clock and don't have time for your favorite Seattle sports shows, listen to the podcasts on demand.
How about that?
Unbelievable. Who would have thought? Every hour, every interview, every look behind the scenes.
Dan Wilson's the new skipper.
This is a window. This is a time where we can get it done, and that's the hope. That's the vision for this club.
Find us on seattlesports.com, the Seattle Sports app, or wherever you get podcasts.
Holy smokes!
Never miss a minute of Seattle sports, the home of the Mariners.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile has Wi-Fi Power Boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. Get the same reliable network in the places you need the most. The coffee shop, the grocery store, or the game. All to power more of what you love, whether you're a gamer, streaming, or work from home. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and Mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year with no annual contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Plus, ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet plus one unlimited welcome line, and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. For over 55 years, you've trusted us for roofing, siding, windows, decking, and gutters. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule a free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever. That's 4 lines on unlimited welcome for just $25 a line per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. You'll also get the new iPhone 16 Pro, 4 of them for the entire family when you trade in up to 4 phones from our top brands. That's a new phone for everyone, only on the network you can count on. Verizon. Visit a store today. 20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply for phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
I'm this weird part of my life. I really am.
Bill Burr, Drop Dead Years, a hilarious stand-up special, is now streaming on Hulu.
I am getting along with my wife better than I ever have. All you have to do is agree to something that you would never do. Farmer's market? Oh boy, would I! My buddy dies. I show up to the funeral. Open casket. You told me he was dead. I believed you.
Bill Burr, Drop Dead Years, is now streaming on Hulu.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. Opening day is just days away, and we want to send you and a friend to experience it like never before. Get front row access to the opening ceremonies, player player introductions, the first pitch, and more, all from the field. To enter, just open the Seattle Sports app and hit the Win tab for all the details. You can enter once per day, so the more you enter, the better your chances. This contest runs through March 21st. Seattle Sports, home of the Mariners, and your home for opening day.
Play ball! Baseball is back. Opening day is just 6 days away. Seattle Sports will be live from Soto all day, including Wyman and Bob at Victory Hall from 2 to 6.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed a musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details. On March 28th,
a 19-year-old girl was kidnapped. I'm gonna bring her home.
Jason Statham is a working man.
Where's the girl? You a cop? You wish I was a cop.
From the director of The Beekeeper.
This is human trafficking.
You do this, you better go full on.
Is that a grenade?
Yep.
You ain't a cop. You're a working man.
That's right. Time to get to work.
A Working Man. Rated R. Under 17. Not admitted without parent. Only in theaters March 28th.
I've always said, the car sales in the 1980s and 1990s, earned the rep that we have today. The concerns that consumers have because of what has happened in our industry in the past, they're warranted. It's our job to show them that that's not how business is done anymore, right? It's very different business. It's much more transparent. There's much more information that's available to people. And we're much more customer focused than I think the car industry was, 20, 30 years ago. I'm more focused on providing good customer service and relationships because I think if you take care of people, money will always come. So I think just the philosophy and the focus for us has changed, where I was constantly chasing a paycheck and now I'm just constantly trying to take care of customers and employees because I know if I do that, then my paycheck will take care of itself.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Wyman and Bob from the Quantum.
Announce a multi-year partnership extension between the Seattle Mariners and Seattle Sports / Bonneville Seattle. So all Mariner games will continue to be heard on our platforms, including 7:10 a.m. The legend that is Rick Riz.
We couldn't be happier on behalf of the Seattle Mariners. We love the fact that we're going to be back on 710 Seattle Sports. Thank you so much. We're thrilled.
On Seattle Sports
and the Seattle Sports app.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet, but we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is, like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found in G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, well, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, we aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just the bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G